Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And we're doing something, I really need to stop saying this. We're doing something a little bit different today. So I've had this replica for a while. I bought it on a whim, took it apart. I've never ever used it in a game or anything like that because I took it basically runs on this infrastructure that's really rubbish. So my idea was to get it and convert it to run what's in this box. And then loads of things got in the way. I started messing about with it in the workshop. I ended up Cerakoting it a really wacky colour for what it is, because I was trying to get a colour match and I just needed something and it was just there at the time, so I took it apart and coated it. But it's none other than the Hawsan double barrel shotgun. Now these come with a long blue gas shell, and they have barrels they have inner barrels in the outer barrels as well. They have these little plugs. The shortened one is usually a little bit longer than this. So I took one of those, took it all apart, took the wood apart, completely stripped it down, removed the barrels, shortened the barrel even more. I can't remember if I got it flat, but I don't think so. I think I kind of just like lopped it off. And then I coated it in dark earth, put a rail on the top because, why not at the time? I was just, messing about as we do. But I did coat the wood nicely and I did change the grip so it's got finger grooves in, which makes it really nice and comfy. And I've always wanted to do, there's a conversion kit you can buy. The guy sells basically you can order the parts from Shapeways. Shapeways is a big 3D printing business where you upload your files and then people can order the files, but then Shapeways make the products, send them to you, and then the creator just gets like a small percentage. Now, straight off the bat, if you want to do this on a budget, there's probably far easier ways to do it. This conversion is expensive. In fact, what you see here, which is two 3D printed plastic tubes and then 3 parts which are actually printed in steel. All that there was 200, I think just over 200 euros. Yikes. On top of that, when they turned up, because Shapeways is in the Netherlands, I think. Is it the Netherlands? Just saying here. Yeah, the Netherlands. Because it comes from the Netherlands, they arrived in the UK. There was another £52 to pay on top. So you do the math there. It's well over 250 euros, which is ridiculous for what you're getting in the packages. But there's no other alternative out there. And basically what this kit does, it takes your Hawsan double barrel shotgun, which are very cool. They've got 2 independent triggers to fire the standard shells they come with, but the standard shells they come with are absolutely rubbish. So what else can we run it on? Well, here we have APS CAM870 shells, but the problem that we have is they don't fit the shotgun. They fly all the way in, and I'm pretty sure the hammers or the plungers can't depress these as well. It's slightly different geometry. So what we're going to get to doing today, it's probably going to be a series of videos. What I'm actually going to do is fit the conversion kit, and then I'm actually going to strip this back down and coat it a more realistic colour, probably like a steelish style colour. So these things are extremely easy to take apart. You literally pull the little tab on the handguard there, that comes off. You push the lever, the barrels come off. So what we're actually going to start with is we're going to start with the barrels. Now there's 3 components on the barrel set, and you'll see this was actually bought as a boneyard item. So I think this was returned to somewhere. So you'll see remnants of blue paint because I think it was 2-toned, but I did get it very cheap. So we'll pull this apart. We've got 2 screws on the bottom here. Now, like I say, the shells that normally come with this shotgun, they don't hold many rounds. I think it's like 5 or 8. It's not much at all. And you shoot them through the inner barrel section that comes with it. Now you can get more spread just by pulling that inner barrel section out. I don't have those parts, don't know where they are, so don't ask me for it. So the first part you'll see here, which is slightly different, is the extractor, and the geometry is just ever so slightly different, as you'll see here, to cater for the different shells. And we also have in this bag 2 conversion tubes. Now there is a little step further down, but what this will enable us to do is to put the CAM870 shells in, like so. So all we need to do is we push these in. I imagine they're probably going to be a tight fit. I think there is a little bit of flash there, so let's try and get this right. I think we're just going to have to force them in. That's very, very tight. It almost feels like I'm going to break it. So I don't want to do that with how expensive these things are. So we might just have to use a file just to remove. You might see there's a little burr there where there's like a hole which has come through into the breech. So let me try that one, see if that one's any better. That one's going to be a tight fit as well. So I'm going to clean this up quickly with a file, and then I'll be back when we're ready to install these tubes. On second thoughts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait, because it just dawned on me that if I do want to change the colour on this, it's going to be difficult with those tubes installed. So might think about that, but we can, for starters, fit the extractor, which is a very simple part. We fit this in like so, goes straight in, really nice fit. The tubes are a bit tight. I'm not sure if they're meant to be tight. It could be these are slightly off. Ideally I'd want to get like a bit of sandpaper down there, maybe spin it with a drill just to polish the sides up and just remove any burrs, like that one that you see just in there, which I have removed. All those sit in now. They will sit in, but we'll need to get that sorted. Now with the rear part of the shotgun, with the grip part, we have to replace the plungers. So to do that, we need to take this thing apart. Now it's been a while, so you'll have to bear with me. From what I can remember, it was fairly simple. So we've got a screw to remove at the back. I remember this does pivot down, if I recall correctly. So we'll remove that. We'll pull out the second screw, like so. I think they're different lengths, so the longer one goes in the rear. Yeah, there we go. And then the wood part should be able to slide out. It sort of like opens up like a clamshell. There we go. And that there is the safety. So that sits in place and sits. I can line this up, making a right pig's ear of this, aren't I? Like that, and then that's how your safety works. So it moves forward to block the triggers. But the part that we need to change is just in the center. So let's pull this little screw off the front as well. I don't know why. I can't remember what was going through my head when I coated this thing FDE. So you got these two here. They sit on springs. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver. Do I have one here of the right size? And this is what holds the hammers, the pins, the plungers, whatever you want to call them. So we can slide that out like so, and we can drop them out. So they're just made of some kind of little pot metal material. And what you'll see here, if we line them up, the geometry is actually ever so slightly different. So they're slightly taller, I imagine, to get the angle of how they come out and push the rear of the shells. So we need to take these springs off and fit the springs onto the new part if it wants to go on. So yeah, this conversion is incredibly expensive. It's just due, this isn't like the creator, well, I hope it's not the creator making it stupidly expensive. I can't imagine a lot of people have done this conversion with how much it costs. But, you know, 3D printing, especially metal 3D printing, is vastly expensive. And that being said, the 3D printing, the metal 3D printing on Shapeways is actually very cheap compared to if you go approach a company in the UK about printing, like you'd say, can I print this part in metal? And literally they would try and charge you like £200. It's ridiculous. Right. So we've got the 2 plungers. And how we can make this a little bit easier is we can slide one into place. And then as we slide that into place, we can put the screw slightly in, put the little brass tube on that screw. If it wants to sit in, it's difficult to do it at an angle. Like that. And then as we're pushing this up, we can get our second plunger. And we can slide that in as well. With those 2 slotted in, we can close this back up. I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I leave it the FDE and just be different? I mean, how many people have seen a dark earth sawn off shotgun? So you'll see now they can push out a lot further. So those can go in like that. Just line this safety back up. And this will go on here. Can be a bit of a pain to line up sometimes. I think what can happen usually is you can over tighten this, yeah, and it pinches the metal together. So there we go, safety works. Turn the safety off. We've got plunger 1 and plunger 2. You can also, if you really want to, press them both at the same time if you're down for that. I think that would be a little bit counterintuitive because, I mean, in my head, you're going to want a follow-up shot. I think hitting one person with, unless you, I don't know, you came around the corner and there's 5 guys staring at you. I think hitting one single person with a bunch of these, I need to do that slightly differently, don't I? So what I need to do is pull that screw back off because I need to put the safety mechanism through the stock. So we can place this in here like that. So that has to go through. I remember last time I put this together, I had a right pain in the ass with it. Right, that seems to be together. The wood on these shotguns never seems to line up perfectly. They do have like logos, like a Chinesium logo on the body as well, which I ground off. I remember grinding it off before I coated it because my initial impression was to laser etch it with some like funky engraving pattern like you'd see on like a proper double-barreled shotgun. So put the front screw in, put the rear screw in. Don't want to over tighten these. You can get the Hawsan shotguns in a full length as well, which means you get longer barrels and you also get a full stock. Let's make sure that works. Why aren't you going down? There you go, it's stuck. Put the wood back on. So you put your two shells in, obviously they're going to not fit perfectly because I don't have the tubes in. Can feel that depress it then. It is quite a strong trigger pull. So there we go, that is the conversion to turn your double barrel shotgun into an APS shell thrower. I'm going to leave it there because it's been a long enough video already. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the rail and I'm going to coat the body parts. During that process I'm going to spin some like emery cloth or something down the barrels just to smooth them out and deburr them. And then we can come back, fit the tubes once it's coated, and we can try this thing out. So this will be very cool because I've got a ton of these shells that I use with my APS shotguns, and it'd be nice to use them. They've got proper like wads, so I think they take the X powers, I can't remember, it's 12 rounds or something like that. So yeah, told you it's going to be something a little bit different. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry to drag you along for a very uneventful climax, but the last thing I want to do is get these stuck and then break them taking them out and try and do it that way. So thanks as always, and as always, from me and Bench, we'll see you in the next video.